Hi, everybody. I'm Harry Donahue. Welcome to Inside Golf. Here's what's coming up on today's show.
Today, we're going to be taking another look at the best of Inside Golf in 2024. We'll revisit some of our favorite interviews and the most interesting places we visited during the year. Plus, some of our favorite discussions with our teed-off panel. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's the best of 2024, Part 2. And it's coming up next here on Inside Golf. The 28th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Monco Golf, the First Tee of Greater Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine, and Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia section of the PGA.
Golf is the great equalizer. For many, this journey is an escape from reality, a chance to be part of a team, a career opportunity. PGA Reach impacts lives through golf by lifting people up, giving them hope, and sending them down an alternate path that they never saw coming. With PGA Reach Philadelphia, as in life and in golf, the most important shot you take is the next one.
The Golf Association of Philadelphia. Founded in 1897, GAP is the nation's oldest regional or state golf association. We serve amateur golf in Eastern PA, Southern New Jersey, and all of Delaware. GAP welcomes all golfers, junior or senior, male or female, public or private. Join the Golf Association of Philadelphia today. Our mission is always to preserve, protect, and promote the great game of golf. Before you tee it up, look us up. Visit gapgolf.org to find out more.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. You know, over the years, and there have been 28 of them, we've been fortunate enough to have some very special guests here on Inside Golf. In January of 2024, we aired our coverage of the First Tee of Philadelphia's 20th anniversary gala. And it was there that we interviewed a Golf Hall of Famer, an 8-time major champion, Tom Watson.
Dominant player, mid-70s, early 80s, number one in the world. And then Seve came along and knocked you down to number 2, I think, in 1983 or 84 in the world rankings. But you were Mr. Golf. And over the course of that time, of course, it began with the first of your 5 Open Championships across the pond. You won twice at Augusta and also a U.S. Open. You're right at the top of the list when it comes to major winners with, 8? And there were a couple near misses. Okay, and you forced Jack into a couple near misses as well. You and Jack put on a display of golf over the course of time that goes down as some of the memorable golf tournaments. Of course, maybe number 1 is the famous duel in the sun at Turnberry. How was that, as now you look back on it, to be involved in something like that?
I've been very fortunate and blessed to have some really great moments in my career. And Jack always seemed to be kind of, he was playing on stage with me in those great moments that I had. And one, as you just mentioned, was the Open Championship at Turnberry in 1977, where we went head to head in the last 2 rounds, and then the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach in 1982, where we went head to head in the last round. We didn't play with each other. And the Masters in 77 and actually 81. Jack was right there in both of them.
Sure. In the Turnberry event, if I'm not mistaken, the first 3 rounds you shot the same score.
We did.
And then you beat them by 1 or 2 shots maybe to win the Open title. Getting back to Pebble Beach in 82, the chip in, Bruce Edwards, your beloved caddy for so many years, said try to get it close, and you said,
well, this is on, let me set it up for you. This is on the 17th hole.
Right, part 3.
I was even with Jack. I hooked my 2-iron into the heavy rough just left of the flag. I mean, I wasn't 15, 16 feet from the flag. I was on a downslope in the heavy rough. When I walked off the tee, I said, that's dead. And Bruce, as he always did, his glass is always half full. He said, no, come on, let's get it up and down. So he gets up there, puts the bag down. I pick the sandwich out of the bag. And he says, get it close. And I said, get it close, hell, I'm going to hole it. And I hit the shot exactly kind of the way I wanted to. It's luckily hit the middle of the flag, went in the hole, And I ran around the green and took him around, pointed back at him and said, "See, I told you I was going to hole it." And then I had started thinking about 18. I had to play 18.
Jack had already finished, right?
Well, he had finished.
Yeah. But you came away with your Open, or U.S.
That
Open
was a tournament I wanted to
championship.
win the most, Harry. I
Really?
wanted to win our U.S. Open. Yeah. When I grew up, Dad said, "Son, if you win a U.S. Open, you've won on the toughest golf course you'll play." And I always wanted to win on the toughest golf courses.
You wrote about your own experience trying to make it on to the PGA
Yes.
Tour. You got to Q School.
Yeah.
In fact, I read you even played a round of golf once with Michelle Wee when she was younger. Of course, you were
Yeah.
too, right?
Indeed. I mean, that was a great experience. That was my second book, Paper Tiger, where the idea was to sort of go out and live every golfer's dream. And that dream is like, if I could just play golf all day, how good could I get, right? You know, instead of hitting one good shot, could I string it together? So I went and played golf 542 days in a row with a coach, a strength, a trainer, a nutritionist, a sponsor, everything the pros have, I got for myself. And I went out there and went to Q schools around the world, Australia, Latin America, Canada. I don't want to spoil the ending of that book for you, Harry, but
Okay.
you may notice that
I
I'm
haven't
sitting-
seen your name on any
I'm
leaderboards.
sitting here at Ronimick playing,
Talking to me.
losing a $2 Nassau this afternoon, and not on any major tours. But I promise the book has a happy ending.
You
And
could have
it's-
been somebody,
I could have been
Tom.
someone. I took my shot though, Harry. No
That's right.
regrets, and
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
no. And it is a happy story, and it's just about, even if you're not into golf, I think it's a story that's about, you know, what if whatever you love to do, what if you could pursue your passion with everything, and what is that experience like? And I'll tell you what, it's not all roses, and it's not all sunshine.
Right.
And those ups and downs, and especially in golf. So
I'm reminded of the expression, better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. But you
Better-
still love the game. You didn't lose your love for the game of golf.
no, because Harry, I'm still under the impression that my best round
Just waiting for you.
is still out there. I'm looking at this golf course right now. Get my clubs. Let's go.
Let's go.
And I've got to tell you, I came out of the University of Oregon, born and raised in Portland. Nobody expects anybody from the state of Oregon to get their tour card, but I got my tour card. And I came out here with zero expectations. And I remember playing at White Marsh Valley in the IVB Classic and absolutely loving that golf course. And I had a chance that week also to play the Philadelphia Cricket Club, and I played in the U.S. Open at Marion. I just have such a great love for Philadelphia golf, and I've played here at Aronimink, played in events here. I've covered for NBC here on a couple of playoff events. So yeah, it just feels wonderful to be back.
What kind of responsibility did you feel on your shoulders?
Harry, that's a great question, but the baseline starts with the small building blocks, the little things, the easy things that you need to do and do them well. But then from there, you need to really start thinking about the experience that anybody that comes to Marion is going to have. We always say when they pull in the driveway, from the moment they do that until they leave, they're ours. And remember, not everybody's playing here day after day. Many times a person's coming here for the only time they'll get a chance to play here. So we want that to be memorable, and we hope that we've delivered that experience. That's what we focus on.
You know, Marion's such an iconic venue, Scott. You're the director of golf. When you look back on it, what prepared you best in your career, whether it was at Baltimore, York, earlier here in Marion? You didn't know you were going to last 24 years. It had to be an accumulative list of events or things that you did, people you talked to, that got you to this position.
That's right. I was very fortunate because my dad was so involved in the game. I had a wonderful network when I got out of school, out of college. And I think I did a good job of listening to those people that were some of the best golf professionals in the state of Ohio, for example. You know, I used to go to Firestone Country Club and see Don Padgett. I'd go to Inverness and see Don Pernay. I'd go to Oakmont and see Bob Ford. But those were iconic people. As I looked up to them and wanted to be like them, I always had the opportunity to engage in conversation with them and find out what it took. So as I went along in my career and as I did what I needed to do at the Country Club of York, I was always working for that next opportunity. And I had good people helping me along the way.
Stay with us. Coming up next here on Inside Golf, we're going to take you to some of our favorite destinations in 2024.
Okay, fam. Quick stop in Montgomery County, but we have to be at Grandma's by 5 p.m.
Do we have time to stop at the mall?
KOP!
Yes!
Do we have time to hit the slopes?
Skiing at Spring Mountain.
Do we have time for Santa? If we have time for wildlife at the zoo?
Do we have time for food?
I have a list of 1,800 restaurants.
Yum! Do we have time for an overnight?
I feel like we're forgetting something.
When you spend the holidays in Montgomery County, your other plans can wait.
Honey, call them again.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. You know, Lancaster Country Club hosted the U.S. Women's Open this past summer. And prior to the event, Inside Golf had the opportunity to visit the club, get inside the ropes, and see how they were preparing for that event. And what an event it turned out to be.
Sometimes clubs run into issues with their memberships and whether they want to host events. And our membership after the first Women's Open, we did a survey and we had a 98% extremely satisfied.
Really?
Yes.
To get 98% of members to agree to something like that is virtually impossible. You know that.
Yeah, I do know that. I know that very well. And anybody that's been a member of any club knows that. But so not only has the community embraced the event, the club has embraced the event, now we sort of see it as part of our DNA.
Let's talk a little bit in a couple minutes here about William Flynn. William Flynn was a noted architect. This is one of his early projects, okay? And you know Wayne Morrison, of course, who knows all about William Flynn. And Wayne, a great friend of the show. We have had him on talking about Flynn and his various designs. But he one time said, I think, that among all his early works, this may have been his best. I'm talking about William Flynn. What makes this golf course so attractive to, for instance, the USGA, nearly, 75, almost 100 years after Flynn first stepped onto this property?
Well, coming from Wayne, that's a real compliment because he's seen all the Flynn there is to see. What you have out here is variety. You have lots of interesting short par fours with lots of interesting elevation changes. We've got a good-sized river that runs right through the middle of the course.
The Conestoga River.
Conestoga River. We have some very interesting big holes, big championship holes of the type you would expect to see at an Aronimink or at an Oakmont, and great viewing lines. This is a great spectator golf course, as you can see out here.
I was just going to say.
There's a lot of elevation.
We're standing in the right place.
Yeah, a lot of vantage points to watch golf from and see lots. You can see lots of holes, 5, 6 holes from one vantage point. So, yeah, we're just grateful that they're here.
Within these walls is an unmatched collection of photographs, trophies, and personal artifacts. The USGA is the steward of the rich history of American golf. Let's take a look with our museum guide and museum director, Hillary Kronheim. Well, welcome to the Museum of the USGA, Far Hills, New Jersey, Liberty Corner, and with us, sort of serving as our tour guide, and we are really lucky to have the director of the USGA Museum, Hillary Kronheim. Hillary, first of all, thanks for taking time out to show us what goes on here.
Thanks for coming. We're happy to have you.
Well, why don't we start right here in the Hall of Champions, right? Tell me, what's the significance of this wing of the USGA Museum?
So this is probably the jewel of our museum. We're in the Hall of Champions, which houses the original trophies for the 15 championships that the USGA hosts. It also has bronze plaques that feature the names of all of our USGA champions, going back to 1895, which you'll see right in front of you when we had the US Amateur, the US Open, and the Women's Amateur, all the way through to 2023.
So everybody that's ever won a
Correct.
USGA event championship, their name is emblazoned on these walls.
It is.
That's
Yes,
amazing.
and one of the fun parts of my job is when you have a champion come in here and they don't tell you who they are, and they sort of come and creep and will show their child their name. It's really neat. I think it's an interesting experience for champions to sort of see how they're memorialized in golf here.
Well, this is Jared Viarengo. He has been here at Applebrook. He's in charge of all the maintenance on the golf course since it began. Nobody here appreciates this new facility more than you, Jared. Why is that?
Well, we worked out at our old facility for 24 years. We'd inherited the building, if you will. It was an old building from SmithKline, and so, you know, tight quarters. We had not enough space. So a lot of creature comforts that just weren't there to accommodate staff and whatnot. So the maintenance area was really poor. So this is fantastic for us and the whole team.
Yeah, what would you say, how much has the square footage increased from the original building to what we have here today?
So we were probably around 8,000 or 9,000 square feet, and now we're probably with the mezzanine space pushing 18,000 square feet, 17,000 square feet. Which is a fairly, you know, for 18-hole course, it's, I want to say nowadays, it's probably sort of an average, yeah.
Every industry has seen changes in the way things are done, and golf may be near the top of the list, right?
Yes,
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
What has been the evolution of equipment from your standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a very exciting time as far as golf course maintenance goes and technology and where we're at as far as quantifying the improvements that maintenance practices are giving us. So probably the biggest thing in our industry right now is autonomous mowing, as far as it's going to raise a standard of golf experience for the member, as far as, you know, when you ask somebody to come and cut your lawn on a Friday for a Saturday party you might have, and you had that fresh cut of grass, you know, every day is now that fresh cut of grass.
You can do it overnight.
You can do it
literally
overnight.
you can work equipment
Absolutely. Mowing at night, mowing during play. You know, they're smaller units, they're electric, they're quiet, they're unintrusive. That's been fantastic. That has allowed us to take our labor, steer it back into the in-play areas that members care most about, and improve that as well. So a good example is during COVID, when rounds of golf were going up a little bit, you know, we moved from kind of filling divots with soil and dirt to doing more plugging with turf. That's been a huge improvement for us. And so there's a lot of exciting things in turf right now as far as making improvements. I think in the future, when memberships want to make key decisions on their golf courses, they're going to have a lot of data behind those decisions.
Back in April, the clubhouse at Walnut Lane began a major $3.3 million renovation. The new Learning Center, which is at 800 Walnut Lane in Philadelphia, will serve as the organization's hub for golf, education, and leadership development for local youth.
In order to keep kids and retain them and have them come every afternoon, it has to be a nice, safe place and fun. And when you see what goes on inside now, there's 2 simulators, there's a synthetic putting green. It's a warm, welcoming place, and it's a safe haven for these kids that will go back into their neighborhoods that maybe aren't so safe.
Complete with a classroom and 2 indoor golf simulators, the Learning Center allows the organization to provide year-round access to its programs, emphasizing the development of life skills. At the opening ceremony, First Tee board member Mike Quick helped cut the ribbon on the Michael J. Brown Learning Center. And 6 ABC Action News anchor Matt O'Donnell served as the MC. Coming up next here on Inside Golf, the best of our tee-off panel in 2024.
40% of the U.S. population, better than 315 million people, 40% of them either reads, plays, watches golf, or does something golf related. When I say play, that means either on course or off course. What has happened to the game of golf in the last 5 years?
COVID has really taken golf to the next level. Prior to COVID, I think there was less than 500 million played. And then COVID, 502 million rounds of golf were played in 2020. And so that has really expanded. And I'll take it from the Golf Association of Philadelphia side. We have something called Youth on Course. Youth on Course started in California. And it's where children 18 years old and younger can go play a golf course that participates. We have about 40 in Gap where they can play for $5. And then Gap subsidizes that club about $5 to $7. So we started in 2018, had like 300 children. In 2022, we had 2,000 children playing 4,000 rounds. Last year, 12,000 rounds.
Really?
4,000 children. And it's just going to continue to grow.
So that program with Gap is responsible for a lot of those 531 million rounds and the increase.
So we see it, and we see the kids, and it's a great program we have. And, you know, I hate to say it, COVID was, you know, bad for a lot of people, but for golf, the golf boom, it was really pretty good.
Joe Logan is next. He has no fear.
Right. Well, I will dispense with using like Pine Valley or Augusta or one of those things, and I play a lot of golf here and at Talamore. Here, the two that get me the most are the number 5 green, brutal, and the number 6 is an uphill par 3 that I have yet to figure out. I can't hit the green. It's a benign looking hole. You step up to it. Invariably, I miss the green, chip on, and then the next shot is when I touch the putter and it rolls off the front of the green halfway down fairway.
Wondering when should I pick up?
Well, when am I?
I'll pick up.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of hell on earth right here. Yeah, and
really?
Yeah. Well, it's a hard hole, or the green is hard.
Now there are 2 holes on the front 9.
Back to back. Oh, on the
yeah. What do you do on the back 9's like a piece of cake or? No.
Well, you know, it's the worst of it is over by now.
We're usually mush by then.
Yeah,
so.
That's right.
You don't worry about it, huh? Come in here and mush at the bar or something. Wow.
And my other holes, I also play a lot of golf at Talamore. And for me there, it's the first 4 holes. If I get past those 4 holes, I'm usually going to have a pretty good round. But I usually don't get past those first 4 holes. I usually got like a double and a quad and maybe a lost ball and a stubbed toe and God only knows what else. And, you know, by the time I get to number 5, it's like, why even keep playing? You know, just go home now.
You know, Jim, what's your most memorable round? And you got a vast array of opportunities.
Well, yeah, it's an interesting question because I've played a million sort of family golf rounds, and some of them have been really cool, and a million competitive rounds. And when you asked this earlier, I've thought about it. So 100 years ago, 1995, the Pennsylvania Amateur was at Huntington Valley, where I'd grown up playing all of my golf. And I was 20 years old and just getting to be a decent player, not in any way thinking you should compete for the Pennsylvania Amateur, other than it was at my home course, right? So it used to be 72 holes. You would play 18 holes, and then there'd be a cut, and you would play 36 holes the last day. And I started the 4th round 10 shots behind Lulu's Jim Spagnola. And by the time I was on the 4th hole, which having started on 10 was the 13th hole, I had the lead. So I'd come from 10 behind to, I was 6 under par, but I'd gotten to a shot, having the lead by a shot.
That's like the Faldo, Greg Norman.
It was so unbelievable
Masters.
that when they were, the leaders were coming up 15, or Spags' group was coming up 15, my father and a couple friends were watching them because that's where the tournament was, and they said that he was 5 over par for the tournament, and I had just gotten to 4 over par. I was so nervous, and I choked my guts out so bad the rest of the way in, and finished 3rd or 4th or something in the tournament. But if you ask me when I'm on my deathbed what one round stands out so most memorable, I think it'll be that one. I mean, there's a lot of them for me to think about, but this would be the one that stands out. Very exciting, ultimately disappointing.
Most golfers spend weeks and even months planning their dream golf vacation, researching transportation, lodging, and tee times. But not you, Doug.
Not me.
Not you. All you have to worry about is piping your drive on this iconic hole you've wanted to play since you were 9. Cause you booked your golf vacation with All Access and they took care of everything. Clear your mind, Doug. Ouch.
Heaven.
All Access. Sadly, we have to leave the golf to you.
Hi, Tony Salucci with the Beacon Group of Companies. If your company has between 50 and 500 employees enrolled in your health insurance plan, there's a really good chance we can reduce your costs significantly and increase the benefits employees receive. How do we do it? We put you together with several thousand employers of a similar size across the country so your company can get amazing buying power. Schedule a conversation with one of our employee benefits specialists today at mybeacongroup.com.
Well, thanks for joining us. That's it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Still a little cold out there, but that's okay. Maybe you go indoors to hit some balls or just get away from the cold weather here in the Northeast. Whatever, we'll be back next week with another edition of Inside Golf.
The 28th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Monco Golf, the first tee of Greater Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, and Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia section of the PGA.